Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 4 of chapter 5. We're still talking about the Southwest. In this lesson, we're going to talk about how has the past influenced the culture and economy today. Let's go ahead and jump into our lesson. Now let's take a look at our blue bars, look at the heading, and read the lesson question. What do you think this lesson will cover? Circle important numbers related to the oil industry of Texas. Highlight how the oil industry changed people's lives in Texas and through the world. Summarize what happened on Spindletop Hill that made it important to history. Underline how Texas's population changed before and after the start of the oil industry. The oil industry in the Southwest. Oil drillers on Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, Texas, hit the jackpot on January 10, 1901. A giant geyser of oil exploded out of the earth. The Lucas Geyser, as it came to be called, lasted for 9 days until workers could control it. The gusher produced almost 100,000 barrels of oil per day for more than a year. This was the biggest oil strike in the world at the time. Eager fortune seekers flooded to the scene to drill their own wells. Beaumont's population ballooned from 10,000 to 50,000 people in a few months. The Texas oil boom was born, as was the modern oil industry. Oil speculators invested money in setting up wells across Texas in the hopes of making a profit. Within a year, more than 1,500 oil companies opened. The cheap fuel made from oil provided kerosene for lamps. Over time, oil was made into gasoline to power engines and machinery. Eventually, automobiles began using gasoline, so the automobile industry was linked to the oil industry. Products like petroleum jelly were invented from oil deposits. The Texas oil industry developed throughout the 20th century. Oil was refined or converted into a usable form more efficiently. Chemical companies also opened in Texas. The Southwest state continues to dominate the oil industry in the United States today. Now, for this lesson, we're still talking about chronology and the order that things happened. But for this section, we're going to look at the event and the key facts that are related to that event. Now, for the event here that we talked about on the previous page, the Spindletop oil strike in Beaumont, Texas happened on January 10, 1901. That's our event. Now, the key facts that are related to it is that an oil geyser gushed 9 days before it was gushing for 9 days before they could get it under control. It produced 100,000 barrels of oil a day and made the population of Beaumont grow very quickly. And it was the beginning of the modern oil industry. So all of those are facts that are related to that key event. Now, for our textbook, we're going to read pages 272 to 281 and pull out 4 events and list the key facts that are related to it. Water management. The Southwest is the driest region in the United States. Deserts span much of the area. Still, rivers do flow in some places. The Native Americans who first lived in the Southwest made good use of water. The ancient Hohokam people built irrigation canals on the Gila River and the Salt River. These canals diverted the rivers to water crops such as corn, beans, and squash. Part of the Hohokam's ancient canal system has been renovated and is used today. Some Native American groups built low wall dams to keep streams from overflowing during the rainy season. Dams today do more than irrigate crops and stop flooding. They are also used to provide electric power. The Hoover Dam, located on the Arizona-Nevada border, is one of the most important dams in the Southwest. Built between 1930 and 1936, it created an artificial lake, Lake Mead. The dam is 726 feet high and 1,244 feet long. It generates hydroelectric power for Southern California, Nevada, and Arizona. Communities have to weigh the positive benefits of dams with negative effects they can have on the river environment and the river wildlife. Dams disrupt the flow of fish and natural materials that help the river downstream. Water use in the Southwest is always a concern. Cities encourage residents to use native plants in their yards instead of grass that need watering. Businesses must follow laws that limit the amount of water they can use. In addition to generating hydroelectric power, building Hoover Dam also created Lake Mead. So let's go back to our graphic organizer. The first event we're going to put in is that the Hoover Dam was built between 1930 and 1936. Some of the key facts that we can list there is that it created Lake Mead. It generates hydroelectric power for California, Nevada, and Arizona, and it's one of the most important dams in the Southwest. Adapting to heat and sun. Native Americans built their homes to withstand the climate of the Southwest. The Pueblo of Arizona and Nevada and New Mexico built large apartment-sized houses in cliffs. Later, homes were modeled after these cliff dwellings. They were made from stone and adobe. Adobe houses kept inhabitants cool during hot days. At night, doors were open to allow cool air in. In modern times, though, few buildings use adobe construction. To beat the heat, houses may only be 1 story tall or have overhanging roofs to provide cool shade. Air conditioners came into use during the mid-1900s. Hot summer months caused many people to use lots of air conditioning. This makes energy costs high. Solar panels placed in sunny areas collect energy from the sun and transform it into electricity. Because the Southwest has so many sunny days each year, solar electricity works well in this region. Solar panels and an overhanging roof are ways this home is designed in the Southwest climate. A growing region. For many people, air conditioning made the Southwest a more attractive place to live. More people started moving there. At first, there travel on trains and local roads. Then one of the first national highways, Route 66, was built. Route 66 went from Chicago to Los Angeles through the southwestern states. In 1956, President Eisenhower signed an act that created the Interstate Highway System. The interstate system connected high-speed highways and provided an easy, quick way of driving to the Southwest. Mining and farming attracted workers. More roads were built. Power plants and military bases were established. Oil and gas drilling boomed. States and cities offered low taxes, cheap land, and lower utility costs. People moved for jobs, warm weather, and newer, less crowded cities. Recreation like camping, hiking, and boating drew even more people. With economic growth and easy road access, the population boomed during the 20th century. For example, Arizona's population grew by 6 million people between 1910 and 2010. Okay, so for our next key event, we're going to talk about the interstate system. So your event is going to be that the interstate system was built in 1956. And some of the key facts that we can add there was that it was started by President Eisenhower. The interstate system connected the United States and provided transportation to the Southwest. Let's go on to our next page of reading. Visiting the Southwest. The Southwest attracts tourists by the millions. National and state parks and monuments include Carlsbad Caverns National Park and White Sands National Monument in New Mexico. Historical parks are popular destinations too. In San Antonio, visitors can tour the Alamo as well as 4 historic missions at San Antonio Mission Park. Chaco Cultural National Historical Park in New Mexico has the largest number of pueblos in the Southwest. Adventure sports such as whitewater rafting attract visitors to the Colorado River in Arizona. The Rio Grande in Taos, New Mexico is another good spot for rafting. Hikers enjoy the many trails around the Grand Canyon and the Big Bend National Park in Texas. Up, up, and away. Each fall, Albuquerque, New Mexico hosts a world famous event in the early morning hours. Hundreds of hot air balloons rise into the skies. These beautiful balloons come in every color, design, and shape. Balloon pilots compete against one another to display their flying skills. At night, many of the balloons are lit up. It is one of the biggest balloon festivals in the world and attracts about 750,000 people each year. Big city life. Southwest cities bustle with many activities. Oklahoma City offers a popular zoo and botanical gardens. The National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum is a large museum that focuses on the Old West in Oklahoma. In Texas, families flock to the Dallas World Aquarium and Fort Worth Zoo. History lovers can learn about Texas's famed cattle culture at the Fort Worth Stockyards. A presidential museum honors George W. Bush. The sixth-floor museum has exhibits of President John F. Kennedy's life and his assassination in Dallas in 1963. San Antonio is a tourist destination too. Boat rides show off the city's shops, restaurants, and its famous Riverwalk. In Albuquerque, visitors can enjoy the Science Center Children's Museum. The Science Center Children's Museums, Race Car Museums, and Rattlesnake Museum. A tramway shuttles visitors to the top of the Sandla Peak and back down. The Heard Museum in Phoenix focuses on Native American cultures. Papago Park features red rock hills, a lagoon, and hiking trails. The park is next to the Phoenix Zoo and the Desert Botanical Garden. Going to the rodeo. Rodeos are contests that showcase the special skills that cowboys have learned. Starting in the 1880s, they quickly spread through the Southwest. Each year, rodeos take place in the cities and Native American reservations throughout the region. Cowboys had to capture cattle that wandered off. They spun loops of rope called lassos to throw over the cow's head. At rodeos, there are contests for the best roping skills. Some rodeo sports are dangerous. Riders wear safety equipment when participating in many rodeo events. Riding ability was key for a cowhand's success. Barrel racing tests the speed and agility of both the horse and the rider. Barrel racing is a top event for women in the professional rodeo level. Spectators fill rodeo grandstands to cheer for the rider of this bucking bronco. So for the next or the third event that we're going to put into our graphic organizer, we're going to talk about rodeos. So rodeos began in the 1880s. Some key facts were that they showcase the skills of cowboys working with cattle, and later in more modern times, these events still bring in a lot of spectators and help support the economy of the Southwest. Culture of the Southwest. The different people of the Southwest create a unique culture that influences daily life and art. The unique culture includes foods that combine the best of Native American, Mexican, Spanish, and other foods. Some foods have Spanish names and influences from Latin America. Some have local North American ingredients like corn that have always grown in the Southwest. Art. Native American artists thrive in the Southwest. Their art often uses browns, blacks, and oranges. Geometric patterns are common. The Hopi carved Kachina dolls from wood and carefully painted them. Kachina dolls have elaborate clothes and masks and carry staffs or musical instruments. These dolls represent sacred beings. Pueblo artists are known for their pottery painted with interesting designs. The Navajos make sand paintings. In this art form, sand is separated by color and carefully placed to create figures and patterns. The Navajo are also famous for weaving blankets and rugs with bold designs. Many Native American groups use the natural resources of the silver and turquoise. They make fine jewelry and decorations with these precious stones and metals. Turquoise and silver are resources of the Southwest and are featured in some Native American jewelry. Navajo people have artistic traditions such as spinning wool for blankets. Spicy foods including tacos are popular in the Southwest. Music. The official musical instrument of Texas is the guitar. The guitar has influenced many types of music, including jazz, rock, pop, blues, and country and western. Mariachi music is popular in Mexican culture and in the Southwest. Mariachi bands are made up of guitar, violin, and trumpet players. Traditional mariachi band clothing includes large sombreros and suits made of velvet. Austin is known as a center for live music. There's even a stage for musicians to perform in the Austin airport. Many performances are free. Many famous artists have connections to this musical city. Two well-known events helped secure Austin's musical reputation. South by Southwest is a popular event. It's a conference and festival that features musicians and film and TV artists. The Austin City Limits Music Festival is the other major event. It features around 150 artists and hosts about 450,000 attendees. So for our very last part of our graphic organizer, we're going to put in that the Spanish developed the guitar in the 16th century and that the guitar is a feature of Southwestern music and mariachi bands and has influenced many different types of music, including jazz, rock, pop, blues, country, and western. Now, for our writing sections, it says write and cite evidence. In what ways are the cuisine, so that means food, art, and music of the Southwest unique? Use facts from the text to complete your response. So again, you can go back just that last page that we were reading about to find information to use here. For the summarize section, under where it says connect to the essential question, in what ways does the Southwest history and environment affect how people in the region live today? So here you can talk about the climate, the water, the different cultures that are there, the different influences, the tourism industry. You have a lot of different options to complete this section. Please make sure you use complete sentences, correct spelling and punctuation, check your grammar, and please make sure your handwriting is neat. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.